I'm Alfons. Welcome to Akoro. And I thought it would be easier to start off with a slide explaining first the Raiffeisen NetWorld and also our goal. So basically it was founded, Raiffeisen NetWorld was founded specific for the goal to get the German agricultural market fit for the future. So basically, we got facing a lot of changes for the agricultural market. For example, we got climate change. We got a reform policy, and I think that doesn't apply only to Germany. And also demands of society. So it's all in a big change. And so the boss and founder made a tour to convince the cooperatives to get ready for the future, not being overtaken by the big players on the market like in the US. And so he convinced 35 cooperatives. At start it was only 34, but 35 now joined. Cooperatives started and had this goal even written in their company agreement. So it's basically the main goal of the Raiffeisen NetWorld to get agricultural market fit for the future. And one part of it would be to build a digital infrastructure for agricultural trading. And it was built basically by Vanilla Reply on first, and then we took over, or I took over later on. And there are several things to address here, because we not just have the cooperatives, because there are the founders and also need this structure, but also apply some things for the farmers to use it. And to start with, the 35 founders have in total about 50,000 farmers who could join in the rampant phase. It also has a couple of hundred in Germany alone, cooperatives, where they could join a big market after all. So Akoro, the name, normally you got naming things is hard, but as we started off pitching for the idea to digitalize the market for agriculture, we also came up with the name, and it's basically Aramaic for farmer. So it means farmer, and our name is telling it's for the farmer. So our main focus is really about and for the farmer. And this name is interestingly because it was pre-chosen. It's already tested with the peer group, accepted within the user group, and also international usage is given, because nearly every language is capable of pronouncing Akoro. So then, platform focus, farmer. We made a survey and had this first off thing, what's important for the farmer, to how to handle it and how to make it useful for him. And then one of the main things was they want to act and trade more flexibly. Remember, it's on a traditional way of the cooperatives, and you only have someone to call via phone between 9 till 5. Most of the time 5. On Fridays it's usually 1 o'clock, and then it's just over. And so basically you want to trade freely and make your decisions, what to do next, what contracts to be closed and stuff like that. You want to act there more independently than just call someone or waiting for your documentation or handwritten stuff even. And also one of the main things is how to organize data, offline data. So you got this big faxes and chemical analysis of your things you delivered there, and you have to set it all up and organize it. And those 3 points were the main focus for the farmer and the main selling points there. But on the other hand, we also got our cooperatives, which are the other users of the system. And For the cooperatives, there's one thing, get the future sustainability, so be ready for the future. Basically, you have to think of cooperatives like we had once telling, okay, we already did marketing, but it didn't work for us. And we were like, okay, what have you done? And then, yeah, we made a PDF with the new prices, and we got the phone numbers of our customers, so we just WhatsApped them our information, and it didn't work out as well as we expected. Also, things like, okay, do you have sales support? Do you get numbers out of the system? It was like, from time to time, if you're looking it up, if we saved it, or it's handwritten on someone's desk. So it's a complete analog mess, basically. And that was also one of the biggest problems we got. But first start with the problems of the complexity increasing topics from a farmer. In Germany, it's better to have multiple businesses as farmer because it's mainly because of the taxes. So if you, for example, have animals and also have crops and stuff like that, it's better tax-wise to sell it to your own business and reuse it like this, and it's got benefits for it. And also, every of those businesses has different delivery addresses. Like, for example, if you order multiple tons of something, you should be pretty sure that it's put in that place you want it to stay, and not just bringing somewhere where you don't want it. Then also, normally a farmer is a multi-user business, so it's not just the one farmer driving his tractor around on his farm and ordering things. Mainly, most of the time, there are team members also enabled, and also law-wise, they got some licenses, for example, to specific fertilizers or stuff like that, and they can order it, but they order it in the name of the farmer business, so we had to interact a multi-user shop user which is able of buying things, and of course the farmer needs to be informed about some order one of his team members made because he is paying the price. And the third big thing is the one unique price per farmer, per co-op, per delivery address, per product, and that's a lot. That's really, we didn't think they're using it, but they are using it. Which is, basically if you got tons to deliver, you don't calculate the delivery prices just as some 5,000 euros or stuff like that. It depends on the place where it has to be delivered to. And that's why they got different prices for different places where it needs to be delivered. And that's a huge number. I later on get this number present. Then also we got some complexity increasing topics of the cooperative. First, they want to sell and buy, and sometimes it's the same product. Because if you sell a farmer a different type of crop, half a year later he brings back more. And you have rebuy it, and you have several contracts who are also stating it. So you're not paying for something, but you have a contract, and you agree to deliver later on in that year to bring a several amount of the specific crop back with a given quality. So also the quality needs to be adjusted. Then, of course, we got 45 members, and they're using different ERP systems. So it's free. SAP, GEWIS, and AMIC. AMIC is some self-implemented thingy. Then we got Microsoft Dynamics, which is GEWIS, and it's only free, but they are all in different states and different versions. So you can't be sure if some user is telling you or some cooperative, yeah, we're using GEWIS, you can't tell if it works or not. And you got the problem, updates are not anytime useful, because if you update the GEWIS account, all the pickup stores are shut down because they can't receive payment. So basically you have to shut down all of those pickup stores to update something, which makes it even more difficult. And we got the problem here that normally I started and thought of a farmer of not being a digital native, and I discovered otherwise. Farmers are really digging the digital thing, like ordering stuff with a handheld device while is driving in a self-driving vehicle around his farm and just not paying attention, so he is able to order things. That's one of the things why we have mobile first, because handhelds are that's the learning. But what we didn't know was that the cooperatives, like all the mess, we didn't thought of that the cooperatives still are this traditional handwritten stuff going on and their own user list. And normally it was useful to just drive around a salesperson and meet the farmer on its field and then making just eye contact and put the hands there, and then this was the given price. So even those things were made up, and that's also increasing the problem. To get things done, here's our setup. So basically we have, of course, Sylius. That's why I'm here. And we also got the different problem here of two types of customers. If you on the right side, you see the cooperative, which handles their ERP data, comes in through a middleware. Of course, a load balancer is up front, but basically a middleware, which accepts the data. And we learned the hard way that you can't make hard rules, because they don't provide the data in a format you normally would expect. And also, they got 3 different ERP systems, and 3 different ERP systems also means not every field is given. And so you have to accept a lot of nulls or empty strings or empty objects and still have something to write. That's the part. Then it basically takes the middleware, it's writing the events it gets to Kafka. Then we have worker which use the persistence and write it to our PostgreSQL. That's also one update. We are not using MariaDB or MySQL. We're using Postgres. We thought it's a good idea. Then we discovered the connection pool is less than MySQL. Then we had to add a PG bouncer. Then we discovered also this connection pool is not enough. That's why we have Redis in place, also for the middleware. And then the normal website. It's just internet web load balancer. Basically, now we're in digital ocean, and you have to remember that's also one of the things I learned. There is a reverse load balancer even up front. And if you don't trust this one, you get a redirect, and you're using HTTP in your Symfony, which then redirects to HTTPS, and then your Cypress tests fail. And you got a big problem here, so you got to trust your load balancers. Yeah, and then the load balancer, and we got Next.js frontend, server-side rendered frontend, API load balancer, which basically requests through a different API, described with API platform and Swagger, how to use it, and then gets all the information from different Sylius apps. Normally it would be 1 to 4, 1 to 5 containers running each one of those. So that's the technical approach, and then of course we got monitoring in different types and different log levels. Especially useful if you handle data which is not verified, so you have to look it up. Then, software. We had some problems, and those are picked out problems we solved. And that's just for information. I go into detail later on. So Sylius multi-channel was a good match for us, because basically a channel is a cooperative, and that's basically it. And we were, and get this ready to work, because a farmer is able to connect to different types of cooperatives. For example, if we got different businesses, he needs to buy from different cooperatives, for example, or if he lives in between the cooperative region, he also has up to 4 or 5 cooperatives at once. So yeah, we have to provide a way to search and filter also on the price lists of different cooperatives with different businesses. But at least the multi-channel was a good start. Then we had to support the different prices per customer, per channel, per delivery address, of course, because that's one of the needs. Then we also got to modify our checkout to support live request verification, because different ERP system, not up-to-date stock, not up-to-date prices. So we had to implement some security check if this product is still there for that price, because if you get a farmer and he uses pickup, then he drives with his tractor and gets things. And he is really pissed if he drives 20 kilometers and not receiving the things he ordered. We also had to support different order sections, because the cooperative and the farmer has, like I already mentioned, there are contracts, and you have a different price for delivery address, but you also have different prices per contract, per product. So if you agree to order, for example, 15 tons of something, the price is different than the buyout. But we have to support both. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy it and don't buy it through the contract, but sometimes it's cheaper to buy it through the contract. And it's also possible to have other different things. And then I wanted to explain the middleware Kafka approach because of the connections. So Sylius multi-channels, as already said, fits quite well. The farmer is able to connect, which was good, but basically you have Akoro, you register yourself, you're logged in, you have no connection to any shop, because you have to ask if there is already some businesses for you. So basically we don't have information about those businesses. Every cooperative has. So we are also handling duplicate data coming in. So we have some address matching add-ons and stuff working in there. But at the end, it's able to connect to different cooperatives, which means you can have different checkouts and different shops, basically. So you're connected to different shops. And the only connection is the product detail page, where you can see other cooperatives are selling this for this price. Please switch the shop to have the better price, which was a thing the farmer or farmers all wanted, and the cooperatives not. And also we have to make sure that the cooperatives don't see the prices of other cooperatives, because then you got law things going on. If you make some price adjustments on a bigger level, then you have to handle it. Yeah, that's why the only thing is this. Individual prices. We started off and we first asked, is this really necessary? For example, we have different sections, or for example, customer groups. Let's say it like that, customer groups. And if you buy this and this amount, you get this price, for example. And we thought that's it. And then one of the cooperatives was, no, that's not. We calculate every price on the delivery address. And I was, nah, I will look it up in the database. And I was, okay, they do it. So the max different prices is we now have, it's already online, and we are selling things. So we got just 12,000 products, and we have less. So right now, I think there are about 500 different products online for about 2,000 farmers. And because of that, we already got 3 million different prices to handle out of nowhere. And it's just like, what? And it needs to be updated, it needs to be stored somewhere. We first tried the approach of having in different tables and join, and then that's not gonna work, so we had a flat table approach then. which is now working somehow. And then we got the cooperatives, and as you remember, ERP systems, and it took months for them to push us the prices. So we were going online and not receiving the prices as we expected, so we had to ask for the prices. So the first mechanism was to pull prices, which we then discovered is a bad idea, because if it took longer than 24 hours, and normally a price is valid for about 24 hours, it's just working endlessly and not updating anything. And after, I think, half a year, they're pushing now prices. And that's really great, because you no longer handle 24-hour workers and containers just running all the time. And then have cooperatives calling you and asking, I updated the price 2 minutes ago, it's not on the platform, why? Yeah, and yeah, that's all to the individual prices. We also had the problem of OpenSearch. After we update the prices, we also have to update the indices, because we somehow need a way to also filter for prices. Everything would be easier if those indices don't, or if OpenSearch must not provide also filtering for prices. It really would be a difference here, but yeah, it's like it is. The live price verification, like I said, it's a safety check. We don't tell the cooperative to do so, but we mention it several times they should, because they're not used to have the data transferred. So for example, there's one cooperative starting to calculate everything with kilograms, and one other cooperative handling everything in decitons. So it's a tenth of a ton. And they just sending in the data, and sometimes the comma or the dot is on a different place, and then we got farmers who is, I believe, jumping around because he orders 1 ton of a crop for about 100 euros. And yeah, then we mixed up the places. We are not calculating the prices, we get it in, but we are the partner who sells it through the checkout, and so we got a problem. So we enforce the safety check, which is verification of the prices at the very last point. So we also had farmers complaining about, I put it in, it was really cheap, and at the last step, the price changed to a realistic amount, but I'm still not ordering now because it's not cheap anymore. And also we have a verification of stock, because normally those cooperatives only have a theoretical stock, but not at that place. So they got pickup stores, but of course they don't have 10 tons of each crop at every pickup store, but they handle it. So we got some never out of stock things, but we handle them as they were never out of stock, but of course they are. And if you have someone driving their vehicles there and get something, and it's not there, of course they're pissed. Yeah. That's the live verification. And now our order sections. We got different order sections, as I already mentioned. I'm sorry, it's in German, but yeah. So one is the buy box on our page. You see, you can order it by contract, or you can order it directly. It's also telling you if it's delivery or only pickup. And you also see the other cooperative to order from, if you change that. For example, if you see there's Liefergebühren, it means delivery costs extra or nothing. Like I said, this is the normal order way, so that's not changed. Beside the fact, we got, you order pieces of, but if you order crops, you get it in kilogram. So it's just plain and simple. You order a ton, you get 1,000 kilograms, that's it. Or you can order it by piece, and it means piece, it's different size. It's 25 kilograms, 50 kilograms, 100 kilograms, and even a 600 kilogram big bag, as I And then you should order also to get some lift fork for it, of course, because you won't get it off. As simple as that. So we had to add different times of delivery, also per cooperative, because not every cooperative is able to handle those. We also had to have a pickup. We also have to have the next thing that you have a warehouse, so you order it, you pay it, but you never pick it up. Then you have to pay for it, that it lies right at the cooperative to pick up any time without paying something. But then you have to pay also monthly for some logistic things. That's the warehouse pickup. Basically, you pick up or get something delivered you already paid. Then the contract order, like I said, you got both. You got selling contracts and buying contracts, and if you agreed on buy something for a specific price, you can also just get it through your contract. We also have to track those things. One of the cooperatives was still, they wanted to change the behavior. They wanted to have the contract be used in different units. So you have a total of tons, but you can still pick up kilograms. And then you got a sign problem because you can't have multiple decimals, and after 4 or 5 signs behind the dot, we just stopped displaying it, and so it wasn't moving, for example. So if you got a really big amount of tons and you can order it in kilograms, you got a problem there. And pre-order, this is one of the surprises for me. It's possible for a farmer to already apply fertilizers on their fields without knowing the price. But they use the product already on their fields because they know they need it at that specific time through the year because it has to be applied, and sometimes the price isn't calculated. So you can pre-order it, you receive it, you apply it on the field, and later you get paid the price, whatever it is. And we also had to support that behavior. So that's the order sections. It's also auto packaging, and we had to support different auto packages. And we also had the problem that different cooperatives use different short symbols for their units, and they name it all differently. So we had to also add a translation table for their different auto packages. And as these are also our customers, but also the people who have the money, we have to support it. And the next thing is the middleware Kafka approach. We noticed our database is going offline exactly at 12 o'clock midnight, every single day. And we were like, okay, let's look it up. Maybe it's an automatic update. Okay, it's only during business days. That's interesting. And then we checked it, and then, our sandbox system has the same problem, and we have one cooperative being in both of those systems, the SAP using cooperative, which was sending 7,000 events right on the same time, which on PHP resolves in, okay, we have to look things up, let's spawn a connection to our database, which tries to spawn 7,000 connections to the database, which Postgres isn't able of, which also Piggy Bouncer isn't able of, because we thought, let's put a Piggy Bouncer up front and then the problem fixed. No. Still the problem with those. And if you have a cooperative and you're telling them, yeah, we got a rate limit there, we're sending you back status codes, please retry it later on. And that's the codes, we ignore them. Ignoring it, yeah, we just send the same amount as long as we get everything through. At the end of the day, we just keep repeating those 7,000 events, and every error code is just our problem, not their problem. So then we had the problem, okay, how to fix the problem that the middleware basically can't access the database. And for example, for easy checkups, you don't need the database. If you want to check if this farmer really belongs to this cooperative or the business is already there or stuff like that, all this has to happen backend side. So we have to accept the event without knowing if it's processable. So we had to invent something to also deliver problems back to the cooperative. And it's also done through Kafka. So basically, they got everything okay. And then we look it up in the database. It was, nah, we can't access that thing, or that's not a valid email, or that empty string isn't a street name, for example. So we only check it if it's a string, then we're fine. And yeah, that's basically a feedback line. Now we learned that the feedback line also has to be translated. We can't just put status code in there and some English sentences, because then we're just, I keep repeating to send the farmer, but it's telling me the street number is missing. So did you add the street number? No, I just repeated trying to send it, and it's keep telling me that the street number is missing. So we also had to translate those codes. Now that's the newest thing, that we really translate all the stuff. And then, yeah, worker at the end is trying to get all things together and put it in a database so it can be put on the web page, or you see it in the store. Normally, that's we discovered about 80% of the support cases we got is due to the lack of right information. So it's not a problem of the technique, it's not a problem of the software, it's a problem of our cooperatives not being digital or not being as logic in things. And so we thought we have to invent there something on the organization itself. So if the platform, and we hope it's successful, but as technical enabler, we also have the requirement to enable our cooperatives to also bring us the needed data in there in a specific way, and not that the farmer just loses his mind or just never comes back because there are no products, or there are wrong prices, or he can't pick things up. So we really need some behavior change there. And so we implemented the digital fitness program, which is basically a step-by-step guide to help co-ops get their digital data sorted out. So basically, we are now thinking about a database check to pre-check their data and telling them the street number is missing in German, so they can relate to it. Also, a clear definition how to use it, the complete process and renewal optimization, implementation of data quality control mechanisms, and active support in the setup. And that's one of the parts. Then also we got our digital manager training program. It enables those sales representatives to also work with the system we provide. And we really had to have workshops, trainings, webinars, everything. They need to know what's agile and why it's a problem that, yeah, you're right, there's missing a dot, but we won't deliver it in the next hour. And people telling you, but I could tell this to my admin and he was fixing this on our website, because isn't just working. Then also the process analysis and optimization on their side, because like I said, sending customer prices over WhatsApp isn't the solution and isn't measurable. It's also sales integration. We got the problem that the farmer was telling us, so you're the new business partner of me, and we just told him, no, we're just the digital partner, but you're still buying at the same cooperative like always. But this guy is no longer coming to your house and selling you things there, but you can go online and buy it there. That's also, and you have to enable the sales person to do so, and also update the prices on our system and not update the prices in their system and go to the farmer and sell it there. And of course, we also have the marketing and communication tools in place. So, yeah. After they're going online, we also have this change management and awareness stuff. So you made all the program, you got the training, you got all these things happening, and you're actually live. And then we didn't stop there, because we noticed, okay, when we stop now, they also stop working. So I'm not used to it. Why should I? Because it's work and it needs more time at the beginning. So we deliver also content for them and actually some ideas of marketing strategy or newsletter management and stuff like that. We also have future workshops, like the newest thing is to have some promotions. So if you buy something for more than 500 euros, you get, I don't know, something. And it's a surprise it's working. And also we got question and answer sessions where I learned, for example, for this pre-order thing. I didn't notice it before, but then I learned about this pre-order thing, that there are prices later than the use of the product. And that's also valuable for us because we got information of the doing of the system and they learn how to ask. And we learn how to, like, for example, like I said, translate error messages. It's a simple step. You're not thinking about that, but you also learn this in our question and answer sessions. And that's a step-by-step guide to just get the cooperatives to a digital native, or at least to a person who behaves like a digital native, at least. And thank you. Yes, we're hiring. Any questions? I still got time left. Yeah?
How exactly you handle live verification?
The live verification? The safety check. It's basically the cooperatives are also providing an API for it. And then it's just, you got this business ID, so we have to use the internal ERP business IDs to ask them, because the farmer may be registered themselves with a different email address or a different name even, because of different business partners, but the business ERP ID is sent with them, and the unit codes, because we are head of the unit codes, so we gather everything and translate it and ask for their unit code and also wrap it to get the information. So it's basically just a call, a REST API call, and then we get the data. It's also one of those things, if you ignore in the verification which unit we ask for, and you say 20, and you ask, you got 20 tons? 20. It's still a problem if the farmer goes there and the cooperative wasn't aware of 20 tons, but for 20 pieces of something or stuff like that. So that was also a thing. But right now, it's implemented, and yeah, it's working quite well. It saved us a lot of times, to be honest. Other questions? Then thank you again. Thanks for attending.
Thank you very much.